Hey everyone, welcome to this video where I'm going to cover using the developer's tools, and I'm going to base this off of part of a demonstration that I did talking about the introduction to CSS. So in this case I was using the week 7 demo folder part 1 that's out in Blackboard if you'd like to follow along. I'm currently using my index.html file from that demo, and I'm going to open it up in the live server because I want to talk about using the developer's tools. Now the Chrome developer tools really are a developer's best friend, and I want to cover what the basics are for using them. So inside of Chrome, we can access the developer tools by going to the menu's 3 vertical dots in the top right hand corner, selecting More Tools, and Developer Tools. Now if you are on a PC, that's Control plus Shift plus I, and if you're on a Mac, that's Command plus Option plus I. You can also use the F12 key to open it up faster. I'm going to open this up to give us just a little more space here. Now notice up at the top you can see several tabs running along the top. For this course, we're really just going to primarily focus on a few of these. We're going to look at the Elements tab, we're going to look at the Inspect Element tool, and we'll also use the Toggle Perspective tool throughout the course. But to get started, I'm going to select the Elements tab. And note, as soon as I do that, it gives me additional options. You can see that the HTML for this particular current page is showing on the left-hand side of the developer screen. You can see the different elements if you would like to by clicking through directly on this panel. So notice that if I were to hover over and click on the main element, in my preview, it turns the entire screen blue, and that's indicating that currently I'm hovering over the main element in the HTML so that you can visually see what you're working with inside of the browser. If I open up this toggle, I can drill in even further to different articles or maybe even to subheadings. Just keep in mind that the selected element is going to appear highlighted in blue, and the selected element's CSS style is going to display also in the Styles tab that's located in our right panel of our developer's tools. Spend time viewing the HTML in the developer's tools, really paying attention to the CSS that displays in that right-hand panel. I can really get detailed information too by selecting an element using this element inspector. So I'll click on this icon and I'm going to hover over how to make homemade peanut butter. Now I can see all kinds of highlighted information about this particular element, what the color is, what font is being used, is there a margin? The inspector is going to tell us all of that information. We'll talk about margins more later on. But if we wanted to click on this inspect element icon again, we can turn this feature off. So this is going to be a toggle that we can turn on and off to use as we need. And in this preview, we can temporarily test out any new HTML and CSS that we want to. So for example, if I were to change my H1, so instead of saying homemade peanut butter, it said anything I want, then as soon as I hit the return key, notice that it changed temporarily, changed my H1 to say anything that I want. But this is on our end. This is not how it's being stored and saved on the server side. So as soon as I refresh this page, it's going to reach back out to the server and get the most accurate source file and replace all of the changes that I just made. Because this is just, again, on my end, not on the server side. So I'll refresh my page. I lose that change that I made. All right, let's go back and put that inspect element right on top of the homemade peanut butter one more time. And take a look how I have the H1 set to the color green inside of my Styles panel on my CSS inside of Developers Tools. If I wanted to change my color and have the change permanent so that every refresh stays the same, well then I would need to do that in my source CSS. So let's say I go back out to my CSS file, and rather than having the color green, I make this the color red. I'll save my changes, and you can see now that my H1 is the color red. But if I didn't like that and I wanted to test out different colors, I could select this color or click on it. I can pick anything that I want. Maybe I want to try a shade of blue. That looks nice, let's go with that. But remember, this is only changing the CSS in the browser, it's not changing our source code. So even though yes, this is blue and yes, our preview is blue, when I go back to the source code, it's still red. So as soon as I refresh this, I'm going to lose my blue color. We'll be using developer tools a lot throughout the remainder of the course, so it's important to spend time playing with this tool and really becoming familiar with it. Additionally, this is a tool that's super powerful for not just this course, but for other courses that you'll be taking. That's all I'm going to talk about for right now for developers tools, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.